Hi, everyone, and welcome to Community Connection. And our episode today is Saving Yourself from Domestic and Intimate Partner Abuse. So, before we dive right in with our guest, I'm just going to share our usual disclaimer that anyone who's viewing or listening to this show, if you're really struggling with mental health or any issues, please reach out to your therapist, caseworker, doctor, go to the hospital, whatever you really need. We're trying to provide as much support as we can, but obviously there's only so much that we can do from the position that we're in. So just make sure you reach out to those individuals that you really need. And my co-host, Mark, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm well. I'm well, Vicki.
Here.
Good to see you. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Looking forward to today's show.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. And our Community Connection guest is Catherine. Catherine, welcome. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Catherine Hernandez, and I'm an outreach educator with Turning Point of Lehigh Valley. We are, if you want to know a little bit about what we do,
yes, please.
We are a nonprofit. We help survivors of domestic and intimate partner abuse in the Lehigh Valley. So we help residents of Lehigh County and Northampton County. Since we are a nonprofit, all of our services are completely free, no cost. And we provide many services. We have a 24-hour hotline. We have empowerment counseling. We have legal advocacy. We have outreach education. We have medical advocacy, and that's just a few of the things that we offer the community.
Wonderful. So I guess we will dive right into our questions. Mark, would you like to start off?
Yes, well, thank you. And Catherine, could we start by you mentioning the hotline number?
Sure.
Yes.
Our hotline number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays, Christmas, New Year's. It does not matter. We were available yesterday also. The regular number is 610-437-3369, and our toll-free number is 877-438-4957. And you can call anytime, whether it's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, from your car, wherever you're safe. We are available, and a client advocate will answer your phone call.
Thank you so much. That is so important and so helpful for people to know.
Yeah.
Let's start. We're going to just start off with a kind of a definition. Could you briefly define domestic violence? And you also used the term intimate partner. So could you help us with this definition of terms?
Well, domestic violence is it's a pattern of behavior used by one person to control another person. So it's all about power and control. One person acquiring or having all the power and all the control in the relationship. And yes, it doesn't have to be between an intimate partner. It could be a family member as well. And yes, we help people that are, they could be married, they could be dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, because it does happen in the LGBTQ community. And just to let you know, statistically, it is 1 in every 3 women, 1 in every 4 men, the same statistic for LGBTQ plus community, and also for teenagers. I mean, it does not discriminate. It is a learned pattern, and it can happen to anyone. And I'm sure all of us have either met someone or had a family member or ourselves have been in domestic intimate partner abuse. And it's not just physical, okay? Remember that. It's not just about the physical abuse, because there are 5 types of abuse. There's the physical, which we hear about in the news, unfortunately. Psychological, emotional abuse, such as name calling, belittling, feeling you're not worth it. There's financial abuse, sexual abuse, and now cyber abuse. So those are the 5 different types of abuse. So it's not just physical. Please remember that when you do call us, if you want to just talk about your relationship, because a lot of people don't even know they're in abusive relationships. They might need to talk to a counselor to get some input, or from friends. It's like, is this abusive? And that's why it's so important that we as educators go out to the community, because we have my coworkers we have our own little niche, our own specialties. We have someone that goes to the high schools, the elementary schools. I go to colleges and universities and communities. My coworker Meredith goes to medical establishments. Etta, who is our faith-based person, goes to churches and other organizations like that. Girl Scouts, Kiwanis groups, you name it. And we provide all of these presentations at no cost to you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. This is
We do a
fabulous
lot.
information. Yes, but need that message. We need to get that message out into the community, as you well know.
We are open.
And that's a great, right.
Even though the virus, is still going on, we do offer emergency shelter, not at our safe house. Unfortunately, that is closed, but we will house you at another location, such as a hotel, for as long as you need to. It's not limited how long, because every person's situation is different. You might need just housing for a few days, a month to a year. Everything is different. We help people with immigration status issues. It goes on and on, all the things we do.
Yeah. You mentioned briefly, and I've been listening in the news and also in the literature, being that we work with counseling students, so we stay in tune with what's in the literature and in the media around how is this issue of domestic violence in the pandemic? What are you noticing, and can you share some of your experience around that?
Just imagine you're trapped at home with somebody who's emotionally abusive to you. And we'll get phone calls from people from their cars, or we'll even get a phone call third party, which normally in the past we wouldn't kind of accept that. But sometimes, let's say a mother and her daughter's boyfriend, husband is being physically abusive, she'll call for her, and then we'll set up a time that she can call us at a time that's safe for her. Because it's very tricky now because we do have a website. It's www.turningpointlv.org. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And all those ways of connecting with us is really important, and the hotline, of course. So we really try to talk to people who are in danger of getting physically hurt, but always remembering, if you're in immediate danger, please call 911. We can't rescue you. We're not going to, stop this person from who's threatening you or abusing you physically. We're not police officers. Please reach out to us, and we'll call the authorities for you. And if you tell us also you're thinking about hurting yourself in any way, you can be rest assured we're going to get you immediate help right away. We don't want you to feel alone. We don't want you to feel that you have no choices, no resources, but the first step, is contacting us. And it is completely confidential.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's a barrier also why they're afraid you're going to tell somebody, their spouse or their mother-in-law, what's going on. We will not disclose. The only time we do disclose if it is child abuse. We are mandated reporters, just like doctors, nurses, everyone in healthcare, lawyers, we are all mandated reporters. So that we do abuse. And if you tell us if you're going to hurt yourself, those are the only instances that we have to report it, because we have to ethically, that's what we have to do.
Right. Thank you. That was just wonderful information.
I can go on and on.
For our members. I'll turn it over to Vicki. I think she has another question for you to continue to share this wonderful information with us.
Yeah, it's so much, Catherine, but it's so good and it's needed, so it's wonderful. Please don't ever apologize for sharing too much. I don't think it's possible to share too much information with this. I really appreciate that you brought up the different types of abuse. One of the conversations that often comes up for me when I'm working for individuals is that they will dismiss emotional and mental abuse because their thought process is, well, I'm not being hit, so therefore it's okay. Right.
That is okay.
But it's not. Anything that harms you in any way, it doesn't have to be physical. So I really appreciate that you brought that up.
It affects your self-esteem, your well-being, your self-worth. All those things are really important. I mean, physical abuse occurs, and we do help you. I don't know if I mentioned, we do help court cases also, even though the courts are closed at the moment.
Mhm.
We do work out of Northampton County and Lehigh County. We'll help you get what's called a PFA, Protection from Abuse Order.
Mhm.
And I believe the legal advocates are doing it via Zoom now,
Okay.
but you could actually apply online now to get a PFA. And it does hopefully stop the person that's threatening you or threatening to hurt you from coming near you or even coming back in your house.
Mhm.
You know, and that's
So
another
what-
service we provide for free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just to kind of clarify, whether an individual is in physical, mental, emotional, sexual, financial, cyber, did I get them all?
Yeah.
Abuse,
Yeah.
that Turning Point is there to help,
Yep, as long
no
as
matter
it's
what
an
form of
intimate,
abuse. Yeah.
it has to be an intimate partner
Okay.
or a family member. It can't
Okay.
be, let's say your next door neighbor is threatening you
Yeah.
to hurt you physically. That's more a crime, specialty, but it is between two intimate partners,
Okay.
husband, wife, or whatever, someone you're married to, living with, boyfriend, girlfriend, or a family member. It could be a daughter and a father, or a
Okay.
cousin. It has to be a blood relative.
Okay. Great.
And all of our
Thank you.
services are free and confidential. What's
Fantastic.
stopping you? No one's going to tell you, not going to give you help. And statistically, it's 1 in every 7 people go back to their abuser.
Mhm.
Even after they might be beat up or physically hurt, go to the hospital, get better, and then they go back.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it's an average of 7 times before the person says, I'm done. And we're
Mhm.
not going to be there to tell you, oh, you should have done this.
Yeah.
We're never going to tell you what to do. We'll
Mhm.
give you certain steps and resources to help you make that choice yourself.
And I'm just curious, like for all the individuals that reach out to you, how many of those stick with Turning Point for counseling
Majority.
throughout the process, even afterwards? Because it is like when you're talking about these individuals who are going back, I mean, there's a lot of processing and healing that comes from these, needs to be done.
Oh, I recommend
work
counseling
through.
for everybody.
So they
I go
are,
to my
so they
counselor.
might be reaching out to you for immediate help, but they are staying to actually work through things.
Because we do offer, before the pandemic,
Yeah.
we had a weekly support group every
Yeah.
Thursday evening. That's been ongoing for over 40 years.
Yeah.
We had all these different kind of programs that hopefully in the future we can go back to them.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have art therapy. We had medical students come to the Safe House and do self-care presentations, nutrition, about diseases. I mean, we really try to help the individual, whether it's a man or a woman, because people think it's just women that get abused. No, men, women, children, everyone. It can happen to anybody. And we do have a counselor for young children as well. So if you're a parent and you have children, if you yourself are seeing one of our counselors, the teen child counselor will also see your child as well. Because statistically, if a child has witnessed abuse, there's a high probability of them themselves when they grow up, they themselves might become abusers because they think it's the norm. This is a normal relationship. This is what it's supposed to be. So
and the education, in my mind, the younger you are that you're getting this education, learning these coping skills and this knowledge, the better off hopefully you'll be, or increase your chances of living a healthier lifestyle than what you're subjected to.
This vicious cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
And the way to start is by education. That's really the only way to stop it. Make you think about your relationship. It's like, oh my gosh, this is abusive. I had no idea.
I think you're raising a good point. Is I think in our society, people aren't clear on what even a healthy relationship looks like. So if we can get out in the front end and help people understand, what are the definitions of healthy relationships? How do people handle conflict in a healthy manner? And so I think what you're raising are we can do the counseling and all the tertiary work, but we also have that responsibility to go out and try to get in front of this in order to reduce the amount of people who are seeking your services. Because wouldn't that be wonderful if you had less people seeking your services by having more people knowing what healthy relationships are and healthy communications are, and healing from their traumas and not acting those out on other people.
Yeah.
And that's what your school programs do, I imagine. As you're saying, you're going out to schools and speaking to provide that information.
Yeah, we do. We've been to many high
That's
schools.
awesome.
We do presentations there for the students, the high school students. We go to, before the pandemic, we just did a presentation. My coworker Lisa did a presentation at William Allen High School and all the local high schools. And it's really, it's very engaging because they actually listen. Because we're doing it during the school day. We'll do like more than one presentation. We'll do like 6 in one day.
Wow.
And the teachers will be there, and then the students ask us questions, and you'd be surprised the kind of questions that
I bet.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Catherine. I love it.
Thank you. I love my job.
Well, it shows, and
you're clearly passionate about it.
Oh, extremely.
Yeah, that's the word I was searching for. Thank you, Vicki.
Respected.
Yes.
And we all, it doesn't matter, you know, if we're not perfect, no one's perfect, you know, I mean, who's perfect? People on TV, you know, and they have makeup on, you know, we're human beings. We make mistakes, you know, and we deserve to be respected and loved and appreciated too.
What other supports or what other organizations do you find Turning Point connects with Turning Point?
We partner with the Bradbury Sullivan LGBTQ Center. We do things with them. We used to have, well, not anymore, obviously it's closed. We used to have a counselor in that building. You don't have to be LGBTQ, it's just we have an office in that facility. We have an office in Fountain Hill, Bethlehem, Allentown. We have our emergency house, our safe house. That's in a very good location. It's undisclosed, but it's in a very good, accessible location to buses. We Perfect Fit. We partner with them. They give our clients a week's worth of business attire if they need it for a job interview.
Great.
You know, simple things like that. Via Lehigh Valley, we provide vouchers for clothing. The Third Street Alliance, we had a counselor in there, and we do speak all kinds of languages. I myself speak Spanish, but we have also the translation line. If you call us and you don't speak English and you speak unusual language, we'll get someone on the phone for you who speaks your language, because it's not just that, Spanish and English. So we partner, and we have so many organizations that contribute to us. Because they themselves have had some kind of experience with domestic violence, whether it's themselves. But we do partner with many organizations. We have volunteers. We have a volunteer program. We have a My Mentors group, which are survivors of domestic and intimate partner abuse who talk in the community, and they have used our services, and they talk about us, and they share their personal experiences. We do a lot.
And that's huge. And you're answering questions that we haven't even gotten to yet, which is great. But I think
I knew that would happen.
No, it's perfect. And I think one of the things that really helps us as individuals is being able to talk to someone who's been in a very similar situation, you know, because we can speak from what we've read in a book, but to say like, well, I've been in something similar, so I can understand a little bit more of what you're struggling with. I think that's kind of huge. So that was one of the questions that we were going to ask is, are there support groups specifically where individuals who have worked through the process of leaving that relationship or whatever and can speak firsthand about what they experience? Support
groups are so important for personal healing. Because again, you feel like you're the only person that's going through this. And when you go to a support group, I mean, you don't have to speak in a support group. You just listen. Right. And it's totally up to you, and it's completely confidential also. I mean, just the fact that, okay, she got a PFA. She knows the process. She can help me with it. She can explain it. Like starting over, because literally 99% of the persons that come to us, they have to start a life all over again. And they have children. And yes, you can bring your children to our safe house and your service animal also. I mean, it's like you're starting over. You might have to get a job. You might want to go back to school.
Right.
And we have a new program now to help you find housing. You know, you have to do the work. We're not going to give you the, like rent for free. You have to be, have a job, have resources, show up to your sessions. You have to you cannot go back to your abuser. That's the only prerequisite. But, and that's a new program. It's a transitional housing. That's awesome. So it's just keeping you safe, keeping you alive a lot of times, and your children as well, because you can get a PFA for your children as well, not just you. And we can give you a referral to, let's say you have custody issues or child support, or you want to get a divorce from this person. We'll give you a referral for North Penn Legal Services. Okay. I mean, we have so many, that's another partnership that we have. And we provide a free lawyer for your PFA from North Penn Legal Services, once you want to, get a PFA against this person. So.
Let me go to the individual level. And we had a question of that for a person who, if they feel that they're in a position, but they aren't ready to leave, what are things that you recommend if somebody's in that position? I
recommend they make an appointment with one of our counselors, okay? And right now, all of our counseling appointments are via telephone, okay? And we do have some evening appointments also. It doesn't have to be like, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
I see.
They're very flexible. They do have some evening appointments. So let's say you are thinking about leaving your abuser, what's the next step? Our counselors would develop a goal plan for you, and we'll do something that's called safety planning. Because remember, the day that you decide to leave an individual who is, let's say, physically abusive, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to get very angry. This guy, where are you going? What are you doing? You can't leave me. So it's really important to set up a plan for you to leave in a safe manner. Like get your important documents. You can't just grab your purse or, briefcase and leave, because you're going to leave all your important paperwork behind, your medicines, your child's favorite toy. There's a lot involved in leaving somebody, but it's really dangerous. So safety plan, call us, the hotline, set up a counseling appointment, or just talk to the client advocate. They'll safety plan with you. And if you don't have transportation, we'll get you an Uber or Lyft to get you over to our safe house for intake. Transportation is not an issue. So we want to get you out of this abusive relationship in a safe manner. That's our main
huge
priority.
Because I'm sure for someone who's trying to leave, there's probably umpteen different thoughts going through their head at one time. So just being able to have like that sounding board to say, like, just take a deep breath. I'm just going to go through one by one, and I'll help you figure it out, how to get this all together. Like, I imagine for that individual that probably feels like a breath of fresh air. Like, okay, I have this person who's going to help me figure out how to get this done. Because to be the person in that situation, it becomes so difficult to figure out how to get out because you're in it. You need that person who's not in it to help you get out of it.
Yeah.
If that made any sense at all.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And there's a lot of reasons why people stay in abusive relationships. It could be cultural. It could be financial. It could be the guilt. It's like you were raised, okay, you got to stay and try to work it out. I mean, there's so many reasons why people stay. But we can help you. We'll figure out some steps. Our counselors are awesome. I used to be one. When I first started with Turning Point, I actually did my internship there, and then I transitioned over to counseling, and then I switched over to outreach within the last year and a half, because I like interacting with the community.
So what are some type of self-care techniques that you would recommend? Because whether an individual's not ready to leave or they are ready to leave, I mean, either way, you have to learn how to take care of yourself, right? So what are some of the things that you recommend?
Our counselors always recommend, and me personally recommend, having like a gratitude journal, writing down things that you're grateful for on a daily basis. I'm grateful for the food, for the roof over my head, for my children, for my pets. Just writing it down or saying it out loud, to make you the gratitude, being grateful for what you do have, doing things you enjoy. Go back to your hobbies. It's really important also to talk about your situation with people that you trust. Churches, church groups, if you're a member of a church, your family members, sharing with families and not feeling ashamed, because that stops a lot of people from calling us too. The shame, especially men, because they feel ashamed that a woman physically abused them or mentally abused them. You know, self-care is so important. And Turning Point, we're very much into self-care ourselves. I'm lucky that our supervisor and our executive director, Lori, is really into self-care, especially now during this time of anxiety.
Yes.
People that didn't have anxiety before have it now. You know, it's just amazing. So gratitude, eat well, stay active. Today, the sun, to me, it's the sun and my dog. I mean, talk about therapy, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
Have a pet, but just talking about it, doing things you enjoy, whether it's when you wake up in the morning, have your favorite coffee, your favorite cup of green tea. You know, little things like that are really important for your well-being and your self-care. Watch your favorite TV show. I know I've been binge watching. I shouldn't, but we all have. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, journaling is the major thing that our counselors always recommend that everybody does. Even if you're feeling angry, write down your angry thoughts and then crumple it up and throw it away, because you're getting it out.
Right.
You're not holding that anger in.
That's actually one thing that I recommend to my clients. It's called Clarity Cleanse. So you write it all out to release it. Sometimes in the process, you end up gaining clarity, and then you crumble it up, burn it, rip it up, whatever, as a way to say, now I'm letting it go and I'm moving forward. So yeah, I agree with that. So
good.
It can be very therapeutic. Yes.
Yes, it feels great.
And I have done it before, so I'm speaking firsthand on that.
It works. I can attest to it.
Yes. I guess the other thing is, you know, you hear a lot of people who may not be familiar, and then they discover that a friend or a family member is in an unhealthy relationship. And so what suggestions do you give to people who maybe this is the first time they've come across, and how can they be helpful to that person? Because a lot of times we want to give advice or tell people what to do, or here we have this answer. Right. What is your recommendation in terms of how people should approach?
First thing that you do not do is tell this person to leave their abuser. Never tell anyone to leave their abuser, because you're telling them what to do. And who likes to be told what to do? Right. You do the exact opposite. Don't ever tell anyone to leave their abuser, because again, that's a dangerous time anyway. And tell them that the reason that I want to talk to you is because I'm concerned about your safety and your well-being. I care about you. You know, I love you. You're my family member. You're my best friend. I want you around. And seeing you in such distress is really hurtful to me. And I care about you and your safety. Give them our phone number. Explain to them that it's free. It's confidential. No one's going to disclose anything. You know, but don't ever tell them to leave their abuser. Do not do that. That's like what
from a place
you always do.
Compassion and caring versus like, this is what you need to do and you should do it right now.
Right, because I know people, like, you want to save them, and you can't rescue anyone. Right. You can't save anyone. But be attentive. Believe everything they tell you, because people will tell you things that sometimes you're like, what? That's not real. No, believe what everyone tells you. It's usually very true. You know, believe them, be attentive, be supportive, give them our phone number, provide guidance, just hug them, maybe not now. You know, just
but stay in communication with them. Keep that communication.
Give them a box of tissues. Let them cry, let them scream, and don't say a word. Just be there, and you know, and listen. But the most important thing is not to tell them to leave their abuser. Very good. Say, oh, I told you so. Don't say that, or don't. You know, you have to leave them. No, do not say that, because then they're gonna get angry against you telling them what to do. Just like when you tell your children not to do something, they go ahead and do it. You got to use your psychology.
Reverse psychology, yeah.
Exactly. It's the same. It's the same. Yeah.
I think that leads right back into just asking you to repeat those toll-free numbers again, or any other way that our viewers can contact you or Turning Point.
Absolutely. Our hotline, helpline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The number is 610-437-3369, toll free 877-438-4957. We also have a website, turningpointlb.org. And yes, we are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think that's all of them. All the social medias.
Right.
Well, thank you again, Catherine. I know I said to you earlier, I just love how involved you are with our community and how much you've been reaching out. I've seen you in videos and podcasts and all these things over the past couple of weeks. I'm like, man, this woman gets around. I mean, but that's awesome, because like, this is what our community needs, like to see, you know, faces and get this information and seeing us connecting and coming together to help each other out. So, so thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank you.
Are
Yes,
amazing and Turning Point for everything they're offering our community. And we really appreciate you being a guest on our show today.
Thank you. It was lovely. It was very nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Good to meet you too. Yes.
Thank you.
And we'll see
Sooner
you
rather
again.
than later.
Absolutely. Take care. Stay
All right,
safe
thank
and stay
you.
healthy,
Thank you, everyone.
everybody.